this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on Bobby Van and Elaine Joyce. Rooting section number 2 backs Dick Gautier and Barbara Stewart. And rooting section number 3 is betting on Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
Hi, thank you. Thank you very much. Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Boy, we got a group here today, haven't we? It's nice to see you all. As you know, our studio audience is divided into 3 sections, each one backing one of our celebrity couples up here. And every time one of our stars wins some money, it's going to be divided among their rooting section. Now, of course, we have a show about We have a show about married couples, so the first thing we've done, of course, is to split them up. Let's go over and say hello to the husbands, shall we? Hello, husbands!
Hello!
Hello! You can hear me, everything is fine, right?
Yes, everything is
all right, now the first thing we're going to do is cut you out of sight and sound so you can't hear what's going on in here. Goodbye, fellas. Bye, husbands. All right, now we come to the best part, the ladies. Hello, ladies.
We're all learning.
Oh, you look so pretty and lovely. I'm fine. All right, now, we'll be back with more of Tattletales right after this message, so don't go away. We'll start our first game.
Introducing all-time.
Go online to buyrotosweep.com to get yours.
Okay, here we are. The ladies are out here with me, sitting nice and pretty. Let's see how the fellas look on television. Fellas, are you there? Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Oh, is that terrific?
Is Jerry there?
Looks like 3 fighter pilots, doesn't it?
Is Jerry sitting up?
Jerry's there.
I feel warm.
Now, fellas,
Sit up straight.
we'll be
I
back
can
to you
sit.
in just a moment. Sit tight now. You can't. We don't want you to hear what we're doing.
Where are we going?
Goodbye, fellas. Wouldn't you like to get rid of your husband that quickly? All right, ladies, I'm going to ask you questions about your husbands and your lives together. When you think you have an answer that he's going to recognize, you just press that little button right in front of you. But now listen, you must be first. I'll only take one response, okay? Here we go. Here's the first question, and it is this. Your first date together. Your first? Okay. Elaine, tell us all about your first date.
Well, dear, my mother's
Thank you.
not going to like this. I was in a bar, a singles bar, and Bobby was there with a group of friends, and I was all by myself, and I saw him, and that was it. I said, I have to meet him. So I asked the maitre d', I said, would you please go over and ask him if he would like to dance? And he said, are you kidding? I don't want to dance with her. And that's how we first met. And actually, I stayed there till it closed, until he finally came over and said, would you like to have a cup of coffee? And
You said, no, I'd rather dance.
yeah, I said, who are you? No. I said, I'd love to. And it all started then about 8 years ago.
That's a lovely story. You really did it yourself.
I picked him up all by myself.
All right, now, what I need from you is a 1-word clue that's worth $100 or a 2-word clue that's worth $50 to your rooting section. So what do you think Bobby will recognize?
And the question is going to be...
The question is your first date together.
Singles bar. How's that, gang?
Yeah.
Yay!
I think that's a good clue.
Okay.
Okay, let's bring the fellas back. Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, now you couldn't hear anything, right?
Not
you
a
just
thing.
A lot of rotten music.
A lot of rotten music.
Yes, I did 7
All right, now we
chords.
have asked the ladies a question out here. This is the question.
Right.
Your first date together. Now, what I want you to do is sound that signal in front of you when you recognize your wife and think you can match her answer from this clue. The question is your first date together, and the clue is singles bar.
Hi, Reagan. Did you hear me? How we doing, gang?
Hey, Bobby.
Yes.
Well, Bobby, you can hear that you're on the right track. Tell us the story, will you?
Well, I went to a singles bar in Hollywood, a place called PJ's, and I was sitting there. It was great music and great chicks, and I met Elaine. She picked me up in a bar.
That's exactly what she said for $100.
Thank you, boys. We got it.
Oh, honey.
I mean, for $50. That's right, a two-word clue. That's exactly right. All right, we'll be back to you in just a moment with another question, fellas. There they go again. All right, ladies, just for fun, the same question. Your first date. Okay, Ann. Tell us all about your first date with Jerry.
Well, actually, he had a pair of ballet slippers in a. Yeah, I know he's built. He came over and at my house in Greenwich Village, and my roommate was out, and I offered him a glass of milk, and we got romantic, or maybe we got romantic and then had the glass of milk. I'll say glass of milk, glass milk.
Glass milk.
Yes.
Is a two-word clue for $50. Now they're saying...
What should I say? They're yelling at me.
Well, they're yelling milk.
Milk? All right.
That could be tough. Okay, you want to go with milk? Okay, let's go.
You don't live with me, you people. I'm telling you. Glass milk.
Glass milk is what she wants. Now she knows him, so... Okay.
I know him.
All right, let's bring on the fellas. Fellas, we have asked a question. The question is this.
Yes.
Your first date together.
Oh, okay.
We did it again.
Okay.
All right, now here's the clue. First date together, glass milk. Okay. Jerry, let's hear the story. I've always heard of glass tea, but let's hear the story.
Well, I'm not so sure I can tell this story on because we.
Why?
Well, that's very funny because Ann told it. You better be able to tell it.
We have children now, and
Wait a minute. What is this?
I'm not as footloose and fancy-free as I used to be. If I recall this correctly, Ann and I were going together, and we were very. The questions. How did we, I didn't know.
Your first date is the question.
The first date. Well, she was standing there in the room, and she said to me, and I didn't know what to say to her, and she said, "Would you like a glass of milk?"
We'll buy that. Absolutely. That's worth $50. Very good, Jerry.
Because you're a pussycat, that's why.
Thank you.
Because you're a pussycat.
That's it.
Okay. All right, now, fellas, and listen carefully now, because I have a tattletale quickie. For every correct answer up here, it's worth $100 to your rooting section. Okay?
Right.
Now, listen to the question, but don't give me the answer now.
Right.
Here is the question. Gentlemen.
Yes.
Is that us too?
You too, Dick, yes.
Thanks.
Gentlemen, assume the law allows it, and your wife has consented, so that you can have an extra wife, which you may pick from a foreign country. They're all grinning like Cheshire cats up here. Would you pick a geisha girl from Japan, a belly dancer from Morocco, or a fashion model from France? That's France for you, Dick.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, would you pick a geisha girl, a belly dancer, or a fashion model? Think about it. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Okay, ladies, this is worth $100 for your rooting section. Ann, what do you think now?
Well,
Would Jerry like a geisha girl, a belly dancer, or a fashion model?
I don't think he would go for a Moroccan belly dance. You'd have to be Israeli for Jerry. But I think France or a geisha girl. He loves Japanese food. Mm-hmm. I'd say a geisha girl.
Geisha girl.
Yeah? What do they know?
That's fine. Okay, let's bring in Jerry. Jerry.
Yes.
Now, you've had a little time to think about it. Would you rather have a geisha girl, a belly dancer, or a fashion model?
Oh, if my wife consented, I would love to have a geisha girl.
Good boy. Good boy.
There's a lot of. You want to know why? Can I tell you why?
You got it. You got it.
You know why?
That's it. You want it.
You're getting one for Hanukkah.
I guess I don't. Well, the reason for it very simply is if my wife's.
They don't want to hear the reason, and neither do I.
That's it. Thank you, Jerry. Goodbye.
Shame on you.
Okay, Barbara, what about Dick now? Would he like a geisha girl, a belly dancer, or a fashion model?
Well, let me see. With the name of Gautier, I think because belly dancers' bellies are too big.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, they kind of hang down. I would say a French fashion model.
Okay, a fashion model
Oh,
from
kids.
France.
Oh, just
okay.
great.
Here we go. Hang on. Let's bring in Dick. Okay, Dick.
Yeah.
Which one would it be? A geisha girl, a belly dancer, or a fashion model?
Well, I don't speak Chinese, and I don't know belly talk too well. But I'll tell you this, I do know how to say voulez-vous coucher. It's all the French I know anymore.
Of course,
The wrong one?
no, you're right.
Oh.
You're absolutely right for $100. And I don't know what that French phrase, what did that French phrase mean that you just did there?
It means...
Never mind, Dick.
All right.
Thank you, Dick. Okay, Elaine, how about Bobby? Would he like a geisha girl, a belly dancer, or a fashion model?
He'd like all of them.
Nevertheless.
Bobby would choose a French fashion model.
All right. Okay. All right, let's bring on Bobby and see what he says. Bobby?
Yeah, right here.
What would you like? Would you like a geisha girl, a belly dancer, or a fashion model?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been thinking about it. I've been trying to get women off my back for years, so I wouldn't pick a geisha. And my wife does the greatest belly dance you ever saw, but let's not talk about that. So I got to go with the fashion model. That's right. I like that. That's good. That's right. You got it.
Okay. Very nice, Bobby. That's incredible that they got that.
Yeah, we all won. That's
That really is incredible, because that's very hard to do, I would think, to
We
pick
know
all
them
those
all
ladies.
so well.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Now, that's our halftime signal. That means we're halfway through. We're at the halfway mark, and let's see how our score stands. Barb and Dick have $100. Ann and Jerry have $150. Elaine and Bobby have $150. All right. Now, we're going to do a little turnabout. We want the ladies to step to the rear, fellas to come out here front and center. We're going to do a little switcherini here. Not mates, just places, that's all. And we'll come back with more of Tattletales right after this message. Okay, we're back with Tattletales. Now, as you know, our studio audience is participating in whatever our stars win up here, but I have a little added bonus. Whatever couple is ahead at the end of our show, our winningest couple, if you're backing them, we will add $1,000.
Okay.
I want to sit in the audience. I want to sit in the audience.
Bobby just said he'd rather sit in the audience.
That's
Okay.
it.
We've got the fellas up here. Let's see how the ladies are doing backstage. Ladies, are you all tuned in?
You scared us to death.
Everything
She
all
looks
right?
like Leonard Nimoy.
Okay, ladies, we'll get back to you in just a moment. You look lovely on television, I must say, don't they?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, bye. All right, now, fellas.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you questions about your wives and your lives together. If you got an answer you think she'll recognize, then get your hand up on that button, but you have to be quick because I'll only take one. The first response, okay? Here's your first question. How you can tell when she's feeling romantic? Bobby was first.
Who won? Did I win?
Bobby. Okay, Bob. Tell us a story, if you will.
Well, I can always tell when my wife is feeling romantic. She turns the lights down low. She always asks me to make her a little drink. You know what I mean? She starts wearing sexy things, you know.
I know what
little
you mean.
hints like that, you know what I mean?
I never
She's got that gleam in her eye.
Okay, so now what I need from you is either a one or a two-word clue. A one-word clue is worth $100. A two-word clue is worth $50.
One word? Drink.
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 Okay. Let's bring on the ladies, shall we? Now, ladies.
Hi. Yeah.
We have asked the fellas a question. The question is this: how you can tell when she's feeling romantic. Now, sound your signal if you recognize your husband and think you can match his answer from this clue. The question is how you can tell when she's feeling romantic, and the clue is drink. Okay.
Right on.
Elaine.
Right on.
Yes.
Tell us all about it, my dear.
Bobby, shame on you. My mother's never going to talk to either one of us.
Good, good.
Goody, goody. Okay,
Are you crowded in there, darling? No.
No, she's fine. She's fine.
Honey, well, I'm sorry, Bert. And ladies and gentlemen, my husband always knows because I always come home and I kind of just hum a little bit and then I say, could I have a little drink?
That's what I said. That's worth $100. Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
Okay, goodbye, ladies. We'll be back to you in a minute. All right, now, fellas. Now, listen carefully. Same question, how you can feel when she's romantic. Okay, Richard, tell us all about it.
Well, it doesn't sound terribly romantic. It sounds a little bit like a Pavlovian response.
I wish I could train my wife that way.
But that's exactly what it is, because when my wife feels like it, we have a little silver bell to the side of the bed. And she rings the bell, folks. Wait a minute, someone gave it to us as a wedding gift. They said, hey, whenever you feel like getting it on, ring the bell, you know. So bell.
Okay, let's bring on the ladies, shall we? Ladies, we had a little fun. We asked the same question, how you can tell when she's feeling romantic. Now sound your signal if you recognize your husband's clue. How you can tell when she's feeling romantic, and the clue is bell. Okay, Barbara, tell us about it.
This is absolutely humiliating. But I ring a bell.
You're weird.
I love this story so much, I just wanted to hear it again. Okay, that's exactly what he said. For $100.
Can you imagine how lucky Quasimodo could have gotten?
Okay, at this point, Ann and Jerry have $150. Barbara and Dick have $200. And Ann and Bobby are in the lead with $250. We'll be back right after this word with more Tattletales.
Up next, Kanish.
Okay, we're back. This time we're going to play a Tattletale Quickie. That means every correct answer up here is worth $100 for your rooting section. Ladies, I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to ask you the question, ladies, but don't give me the answer now. Just think about it, okay? Here it is. Ladies, it's your anniversary. If your husband planned to give you as a present... Oh, that can't be right. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. If your husband planned to... I thought he was going to give you away as a present on your anniversary.
I've thought about many times.
If your husband planned to give you as a present a $10,000 fur coat, a $10,000 diamond, or $5,000 in cash, which would you prefer? Think about it. A $10,000 fur coat, a $10,000 diamond, or $5,000 in cash. Okay? We'll come back to you in a minute, ladies. Think it over. I think they're thinking about it, too. Okay, Jerry, tell us about Ann. Which one of those gifts do you think would mean the most to her on an anniversary?
Well, I would think it would be the money. Most of all, I say this because I think material objects have never appealed to her. Take me, for instance. No, she's like that. She doesn't wear furs or anything like that, and diamonds she loses.
Right. Let's not go into that one.
All right, yeah.
Okay, let's bring her on and see you. Okay, we know the answer. All right, Ann, hi there.
Hello.
Okay, what
I'm
would
lonely
it be?
in here in this little box thing.
Well, talk to us now. Would you
Hi.
like a $10,000 fur coat, a $10,000 diamond, or a $5,000 in cash for your anniversary?
I'd love some gasoline and sirloin steak.
Those are things we can get you.
I know. Who can? I think I don't want a fur coat because Cleveland Amy's a friend of ours, and those little dead animals. I think $5,000. Who knows?
That's what he said. It's worth $100. Okay. Thanks, Ann. Okay, let's move on down. Now, Dick.
Yeah.
How about Barbara? Would she like $10,000 fur coat, a $10,000 diamond, or $5,000 in cash?
Well, she already has the $10,000 for a car. No.
This is for your anniversary too. Which,
Yeah, for her anniversary. Well, I'll tell you, Barbara's pretty smart, being a money-grubbing gold digger. I think really what she'd do is I think she'd take the diamond and sell it for $7,500. So I'll say the diamond is better than the $5,000.
All right, let's bring her on. Barbara, Hey, Barbara, how are you?
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, what would it be? The $10,000 fur coat, the $10,000 diamond, or $5,000 in cash?
Just give me the money, honey.
Hey, dummy, you could sell the diamond for $8,500.
You
Okay,
idiot!
I'm sorry, he didn't say that.
You didn't say
No score
money.
there, Barbara. Sorry about that. Bye, Barbara. Bye. Okay, Bobby, how about Elaine? We got Barbara off just in time.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a tough one. I know my wife doesn't like diamonds. That's out. Now, she's got cash. She wants a mink coat. She'd like it. I would say the $10,000 fur coat.
Okay, let's ask her. Elaine.
That's what she'd like.
Elaine, let's bring on Elaine. Elaine, what would it be? The coat, the diamond, or $5,000 in cash?
I have been drooling all over them. I just can't, all of them. I would take all of them, but I think Bobby would say the $10,000 coat.
$100 for you. All right. Okay.
Okay, Bobby, I want it.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, there's the sound. That means that's the end of the game. We have no more time. Our winners are Elaine and Bobby Wynn. Yeah, we had $350. We add $1,000 to that for a grand total of $1,350. And we'll come back to Tattletales right after this message. We'll be right back. Hang on now. That's all the time we have for. We'll see you next time on Tattletales. Thank you.
This is Jack Clark speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. Rooting section number 1 has its money on Bill Cullen, host of 3 on a Match, and his wife, Ann. Rooting section number 2 backs composer-singer Chuck Woolery and movie actress Joanne Flug. And rooting section number 3 is betting on Alan Ludden, host of Password, and Betty White of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Tattletales, especially you, Joanne. As you know, our studio audience is divided into 3 sections, each one backing one of our celebrity couples here. And every time one of our stars wins some money, it is divided among their rooting sections. So let's get ready to start that dividing, shall we? Ladies to the rear, fellas, have a seat out here with me. We're coming right back. Don't go away. Okay, we're back, ready to start. The fellas are going to start out here with me. First, of course, is Alan Ludden, and backstage is his lovely wife, Betty White.
There she is.
There you are, gang.
How does she look in there?
She looks beautiful.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does. She looks beautiful. You look nice too, Alan. It's
Okay,
nice to have you.
No, she doesn't.
And next to them, of course, is Chuck Woolery and Joanne Flug. There they are.
Get your hair out of your eyes.
No, he can't see. He just said that. He said, fix your hair, but he really can't see you.
No.
Unless you can see in the back of it.
I can't see a
No, I
thing.
don't think you can. And next to you, of course, is Alan Ludden and his lovely wife, Ann.
Yes, thank you. Great.
I said Alan.
Terrific, Bill.
Well, I tell you, I have to tell you now, I have been doing this all day.
We aced it. We did it. Yeah.
Now, they did this before the show. You said, now remember, I'm Bill and he's Alan, and I said it.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Really Bill
Let's
Cullen.
pretend like we haven't done it all.
No.
And next to Chuck and Joanne is Bill Cullen and his wife, Ann.
Right. There you go. Sorry. I thought that was my lovely wife, Bert Parks. In there. No. Sorry.
See, Alan, you got me all ready.
I'm sorry. I did that. I confess, friends.
I'm new at this, and you aren't picking on the new boy.
I really did.
All right, ladies,
that.
we're going to get back to you in just a moment. We're going to cut you off from sight and sound. Bye.
I'll see you around.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Fellas, I'm going to ask you some questions about your wives and your lives together. When you have an answer you think your wife will recognize, press that little red button in front of you, will you? I'll only take one response, so you have to be first.
Don't
and
miss
now,
it, Bill.
speaking of first, here is the first question. It happened while you were dating. Anybody have a story for that? Chuck! All right, Chuck, tell us about it.
Interesting story. We had a blind date, our first date. I thought she was Sally Kellerman because they were both in MASH, and I'd never seen her before. Now, the interesting thing was she didn't want to go out from with a hillbilly from Kentucky, right? She'd never seen me either. She was right. So the thing that changed the whole thing around was we went to a place for dinner that night, and I ordered her for a drink, a very fine, for a drink.
Oh, you ordered
I ordered
a drink
her a very fine champagne. I can't mention the name of it because you're not allowed to mention names. But it was a very fine. That's right. He knows. And she decided at that point that I was not a hillbilly from Kentucky and she'd take me.
Okay, now what are you going to use as a 1- or 2-word clue then?
Yeah, champagne.
Champagne is a 1-word clue worth $100 for your reading session. Okay. Okay, let's bring on the ladies now. Ladies, we have asked the fellas a question and we have a clue. If you recognize your husband and can match his story from the clue, sound that little signal in front of you. Here we go. Here is the question first. It happened while you were dating. And the clue is champagne. Let's see. Joanne.
Oh, we got two.
Who was first? Joanne was first. Tell us about
it. Well, easy, baby. Low profile.
Is that my best one? We had a blind date that David Ladd had set up, and Chuck didn't want to go with me because he thought I was somebody else from the movie MASH. He just didn't think she was his type. Anyway, and I thought he was a hick, and I...
Yeah.
So we went out to dinner, and as soon as he ordered me Don Vernion, I said, he's for me.
That's very sad.
Not a class.
That's what he said. Thank you, dear. We'll get back to you in a minute, ladies.
Okay.
Next question coming up. Okay, fellas, ready to go. Here is the next one. Dom Perignon, indeed.
Yeah.
Same question. It happened while you were dating.
Oh,
Bill.
bang.
Same question.
Bang. You see that?
There you are, Bill.
My story is not as romantic as that. My story is simple and to the point. I was coming out here weekly from New York, and my wife and I were dating, and I would say, why don't you come up to the room of my hotel and have a drink, and then I'll take you home. And she said it would look bad, so I had read the Douglas Fairbanks autobiography, and I stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and there's a back door, and if you know how to park on Crescent and leave your lights on, you can walk in and come up the back way. And then I'd take her down and out the back way and into her car, and the people at the hotel never knew the difference. And my clue is I'm going to get heck from home. Isn't it?
Earth calling Bill.
I'm sorry I have to use 2 words, but I am the one that had the assignation. I am the one who will give the clue. I was doing this when you folks were in the peanut gallery. Back door is the clue.
Back door is the clue. It's a 2-word.
That's 1 word. You'll be sorry.
Back door is 1. Is that 1 word or 2 words, Mr. Producer?
Back door's got a little hyphen in there.
That's 2 words, the man says. Okay, $50. Shh, don't give it away. Here let's bring on the ladies. Okay, ladies, we have another question. We have another clue. The question is the same question. It happened while you were dating. And the clue is back door. You're up, man. I like to hear it again.
It's coming back to haunt me. I think Bill's probably referring to the fact that when he commuted and he stayed at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And
go ahead, Tony. Tell him a bit.
The easiest way to get to his room was through the back side entrance because I could park the car on Crescent Avenue and walk in that way.
That's exactly right. And that's worth $50 for you. You're really accepted. Thank you. All right. At this point, Betty and Ellen have 0. Joanne and Chuck have $100. Ann and Bill have $50. All right. Now it is time for a Tattletale Quickie. So reaching up here, we'll get the Tattletale Quickie. Each one of these questions is worth $100. Ladies, I'm going to ask it of you, but don't give me the answer until I ask you to. Girls, I'm going to give you a choice of 3 compliments. Which would you most like to hear? A man says, "You're one of the most attractive women I've ever met." A woman says, "You're the best friend any woman could have." Or a child says, "I wish all mommies could be like you." Let me say it again for you. Which one of those compliments would you most like to hear? A man says you're one of the most attractive women I've ever met. A woman says you're the best friend any woman could have. Or a child says, I wish all mommies could be like you. Go away and think about it, ladies. We'll come back to you in just a moment. All right, Alan, which one of those do you think Betty would most like to hear?
Well, now, if you had something about what a dog says, there'd be no choice. But now, between children, women, and men, I'll go with the man. She'll say she'd prefer the compliment from the man.
Okay, she'd like to hear that one. All right, let's bring on Betty. Betty, which one of those 3 compliments would you like to hear?
Oh, I'm afraid there's just no contest. I like boys best. I think a man should say...
No contest at all, huh? You know, Alan said the one category we didn't have here was a dog.
Well, that would be first if they did say that.
Why is that? Do you have a dog you talk to a lot?
I have several I talk to. I talk to all kinds of animals.
Right. She talks to anything with a leg in each corner. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Betty.
Not as often.
Okay, Chuck, how about Joanne? Which one of those compliments would you most like to
they're
hear?
all lovely compliments. That's really
Yes, they
tough.
are.
And see, I'm going to have to rule out the children, I think, because we don't have children. So it's between a man and a woman, and being a good friend is a good one. I think I'm going to go with a man, too, because every woman likes to know she's attractive.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to try that. Yeah.
Okay, the question is, which one of those 3?
Yeah.
Let's bring on Joanne. Joanne, which one of those compliments would you most like to hear? From a man who says you're the most attractive woman I've ever met, a woman who says you're the best friend any woman could have, or a child who says, I wish all mommies could be like you?
Well, I just finished a movie of the week with a little boy that I fell in love with. Aw, and so I would probably say I wish that a child would say that to me.
Okay, now
that's all right, darling. I don't mind, because that's sweet.
Tell her what you said, Chuck, though. Nevertheless, no
Later
score there,
on,
Joanne.
though.
Tell her what you said, Chuck.
Yeah, I thought that you would like to be attractive all your life, because you're so vain and everything, you know.
Did you really say
I'm just kidding,
Chuck
darling.
said that. I didn't say that, Joanne. Chuck said that.
Was she
Thank
mad?
you. I'm sorry, dear. No score there. Okay, Bill, how about Ann?
Well, there's no question in my mind, because that same story I told earlier about the back door, last time he threw her out, the hotel detective said, you're the most attractive woman I've ever seen. No, and I think, like most women, I don't know, I think she would want the compliment from a fella about being the most attractive woman.
Okay,
and she is.
Let's see if she agrees. Yes, she is. And
Yes,
which one of those 3 compliments would you like most to hear?
I think the man saying that.
That brings us to halftime. At this point, Betty and Alan have $100. Joanne and Chuck have $100. Ann and Bill are in the lead with $150. Okay, gentlemen, change places. Fellas to the rear. Ladies, come on out here. While we're changing places, we'll break away for this message, but we're coming back in just a moment. Don't go away. Okay, we're back. As you know, our studio audience is sharing the winnings of our celebrity couples, but let me add this. If your rooting section is backing our winningest couple at the end of today's show, we will add as a bonus $1,000. All righty, we have the ladies are out here with me. Let's see if your fellas are situated correctly. Gentlemen, are you comfortable? Everybody all set?
Oh, it's terrific, Bill. Little coffee,
Got you
please.
here. Don't talk at once. I can't hear anything. Now, everybody say hello.
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 Now cut them off. Goodbye, fellas. Oh, I love that.
You love that kind of
I really like
command,
that.
don't you?
I like to cut them off when they're talking. That's even more fun.
So do I.
Okay, ladies, I'm going to ask you questions now about your husbands and your lives together. When you have an answer you think he'll recognize, push that button in front of you, okay? I'll only take one response, so you got to be first on the button. Here is the first question. Not yet, not yet. Oh, Joanne, I don't know. Here we go. A birthday you will never forget. Whoa! And you are very fast.
Yes,
You've
well,
got a quick
he
rise.
gave me a surprise party that just ended all surprise parties. He hired a Circle Line boat which goes around Manhattan Island.
Oh,
This
that's
was
wonderful.
a total surprise to me. Had 75 people. He had an orchestra. He had arranged the food. He had arranged everything. It was just absolutely fabulous.
What a wonderful idea.
So let's see.
Now we need a 1 or 2 word clue.
Well, let's try. Now, what's the clue again?
A birthday you will never forget.
Let's try boat.
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 1 word clue. Boat.
Boat. Okay.
Okay. Shh. Let's not give it away. Let's bring on the fellas. Gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
We have asked the ladies a question, and we have a clue. Here is the question first. A birthday you will never forget. And the clue is boat. Tell us about it, if you will, William.
Well, Anne was street walking in Venice during There used to be a boat trip that went around Manhattan Island. And Anne had a birthday, and I luckily chartered the boat and had a bunch of people down and told her I was going down the dock to take pictures of a thing I had been in. And it was a surprise party with all her relatives and friends of mine also. And we put her on and we took her around the island, and that was her birthday.
That's right. And that's exactly what she said, John. What a terrific idea for a party.
It really is.
Did anybody have a little too much and fall off, or you'd lose them in the East River, wouldn't you?
I did right before the check came.
All right, thank you, fellas. We'll get back to you in just a moment.
Bye.
Okay, ladies, next question coming up. Get ready. Same question, a birthday you will never forget. Betty, you are up.
Well, again, it was a surprise party that I'll never forget. It was a rather momentous birthday, and he thought it was kind of a momentous birthday before a momentous birthday, and he thought, well, this one she won't expect a surprise party. And he made it so casual that I thought I was just going to have dinner with my mother and my husband, and I were just going to a restaurant. That poor fellow went out and bought me an outfit to wear, and casually had to con me into wearing it. And I got to the place, and they conned me upstairs with a whole long story, which I won't go into. And all our good friends were there. I kept running into two people at a time until it was a whole beautiful thing.
Oh.
It was the most complete surprise I've ever had.
Okay.
And only 4 of them got drunk and fell overboard. But, you know, otherwise.
Funny, and you weren't even on the water. I wonder how they did that. Okay, what are you going to use as a clue, Betty? 1 or 2 words.
Restaurant. Okay.
Restaurant, 1 word.
I'll take it from you, babe.
All right, that's what your section wants. Let's bring on the fellas. Gentlemen,
Yes.
we have another question and we have another clue. Actually, we have the same question. A birthday you will never forget. And the clue is restaurant. Let's close it. Who was first? Alan was first. All right, Alan, tell us about that one.
Well, I thought a while ago she was going to press the buzzer. I gave her a surprise party, too. It wasn't on a boat. It was at Chasen's restaurant here in Los Angeles, and I fooled her pretty good, and she walked in. My only concern about the whole thing was that since it was a surprise, I wanted to be darn sure she had on something that she would be pleased to be seen in. So I not only had to get her a party, I had to get her a new dress.
That's what you said. Okay. Let's see how we stand. Joanne and Chuck have $100. Betty and Alan have $200. Ann and Bill are in the lead with $250. Okay, we'll be back with more Tattletales in just a minute. Don't go away. Coming back for the finale. Okay, we're back. We're going to play a Tattletale quickie now. Fellas, I'm going to ask you the question. Don't give me the answer until I ask for it. And each correct answer is worth $100. And we have a close game. Anybody can win. Here we go. Fellas, in your bachelor days, which turned you on the most? In your bachelor days, short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines?
Oh, my.
In your bachelor days, I'm making that definite. Which turned you on the most? Short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines? We'll get back to you in just a moment.
I know. It's a shoe-in.
In his bachelor days, which one of those 3 turned Alan on the most, Betty, do you think?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I tell you, Alan has had so few bachelor days. He was married for years and years and years to a lovely lady who has since passed away, and then he's been married to me, so he hasn't really had a lot of time on his own. But on his free time in between, let's say, I'd say short skirts.
Short skirts.
I would say.
All right. Let's bring on Alan and see. Alan, which one of those 3 turns you on the most? In your bachelor days, that is.
I've been married all my life, so it's no different. I haven't changed. That's a terrible choice.
Really?
I think, with a very slight difference, I like the plunging neckline.
What did
With
she
a very-
say?
She
What did
didn't
you
say
say?
that. Tell him what you said, Betty.
Well, I said from just judging by your eyeballs, I would say short skirt.
Well, I wouldn't touch that. You go ahead, little lady.
No, you better not touch it. Anyway, thank you, Alan. It's no score there. Sorry. Joanne, how about Chuck? Which one of those three in his bachelor days turned him on the most?
Slightest idea.
Really?
No, because the same as Betty said, all of them, probably.
Well, you have to make a choice
Oh,
here. so-
fiddly-dee, do I have to?
Yes, because the question is which turn you on the most. So what do you think he is most attracted to?
Oh, I think I will say tight slacks.
Okay. Short skirts, tight
do
slacks,
you
or plunging necklines? Yes, if you know, tell her, because she wants to know. No, you're going to go, what are you going to go with,
I think I'll go to short skirts.
You're going to change it now? All right, now you have no complaint if she's wrong, right? You're going to, short skirts is what you're going to say. Let's bring on Chuck. Okay, Chuck, which one of those three will it be? Short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines?
Absolutely no question about it. In my mind, tight slack.
What's happening? See, Dan? She told you. What? Chuck, as you can see...
I must have been right.
That's not what she said. No. Tell him what you said, Joanne.
I said, I didn't know, but I would say tight slacks.
Yeah?
The audience said, no.
Yeah. Oh.
Short skirts.
Oh, get him by the throat, honey.
Your rooting section picked short skirts. I'm sorry, Chuck. No
folks,
score
you're in a
there.
lot of trouble.
Thank you. Okay, Ann, how about Bill? Which one of those three turned him on
It's an
most as a
absolute
bachelor?
shoe-in. I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to say short skirts. He likes tight pants, but he much prefers short skirts. And the cleavage, he wouldn't have married me if that had turned out.
All right, let's bring on Bill. Okay, Bill, which one of those three will it be? Short skirts, tight slacks, or plunging necklines when you were a bachelor turned you on the most?
When I was a bachelor. It's another way of asking me whether I'm a leg man or one of those other three choices. Short skirts, dude.
The time is up. Our winners for today are Ann and Bill Cullen. Okay, Ann and Bill, you have won $350 for your rooting section. We add $1,000 to that for a grand total of $1,350. Okie dokie, we'll be back in just a moment with more Tattletales. Hang on, right after this message.
For me.
Okay, we don't have much time. Today we gave away a total of $1,650 to our studio audience. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to our winner, Ann and Bill Cullen. Bert Convy saying so long until next time. Our studio audience will be sharing the secrets and the winnings on Tattletales. See you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
This is Jack Clark speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
What are you up to now? We haven't even started, and already you're pulling tricks here. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. You have seen
That's nice material. You should have a suit made out of it.
Moving right along, folks. We hope you have fun today. We're going to have fun. I know that. We have three wonderful couples. We're going to win you all some money, I promise. So let's start it off. Shall we, fellas? Have a seat out here with me. Ladies, step to the rear, and we will start our first round of Tattletales in just a moment. As soon as we get all ready. Individually as couples. Shall we do that? First is Mr. Orson Bean and his wife, Carolyn. Yes. Carolyn, it's nice to have you with us as always.
Thank you.
You're entirely welcome.
I've
Next
never
door.
kissed a girl in a blue box before.
Really? Well, there's always a first time for everything. Isn't there? Give her a big kiss, Orson.
All right.
Say hello to her. There it is. Wasn't that nice? Did you feel that, Carolyn?
I loved it.
Really?
It's a whole new thing.
Oh, boy.
She's weird. She'll go for anything.
Next
I'm
thing,
going to have one built at home.
next to Carolyn Orson is Lee Bernhardt and his wife, Janet Lennon. Nice to have you folks with us, too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be looking forward to an album that's coming up with you and your sisters pretty soon, won't we?
Right.
Next to Lee and Janet is Mr. Glenn Ford and his gal, Cynthia Haywood. Is Cynthia all right?
Yeah.
We've lost Cynthia's picture. Is she all right? Glenn hit the
I'm
top of the box,
fine.
and I think you knocked her cold is what happened. As we've lost the picture there. Isn't that funny? But I think we can fix that up, can't we? All right. There she is again. No, you did it again. She came on, you hit the box, and off she went again. Now, wait, let's everybody wait a minute. Let's see if we can get it. No, to heck with it. So we move on. She'll come back in a minute, won't you? Oh, tap it. Give it a tap there. There she is.
Come on, guys.
Just once. There she is. There. Now, don't touch it.
You know,
all I can say is this studio cost $400 million to build, and all we have to do to get a picture is hit a box on the top of it. Okay. Fellas, I'm going to ask you questions about you and your gals and your lives together. When you have an answer you think she's going to recognize, you know what to do. You press a button, you give me a clue. Ladies, go away. We'll get back to you in just a minute, okay?
Bye-bye.
Ready to go? Here comes the first question. A time one of you fell asleep at the wrong time. Here you go. Tell us about it, will you, sir?
Well, my wife is very famous for, not only for singing, but for falling asleep.
Oh.
She has fallen asleep in several restaurants
Uh-huh.
while we've been waiting. But I think last year I was the associate director on the Emmy Awards, and we had gone to the party afterwards to where all the well-known people are. And we decided we didn't want to stay. So the director of the show, Marty Pacetta, invited us to go to Chasen's, to where all the bigwigs were going to go to Chasen's afterwards, and he said we get plenty to eat. Well, we got there and there was no food as usual, so we went into the restaurant to order. And I'm sitting there, and she is like this. And that's it. And everybody, I mean, like Carol Burnett and all the award winners, I can't remember, a lot of the names, but everybody was coming by saying hello and how are you, and she's
sound asleep.
It's terribly embarrassing for me.
Terribly embarrassing.
That is my story.
Now you're going to give me a clue, and she was asleep. She may not remember it. A one or two word clue.
I think that it should be, what is it?
You can't say Chasen's. What is it? What? A time one of you fell asleep at the wrong time.
I will say, I can't use Chasen's.
No.
Emmys.
Emmys?
Emmys.
Can you say that? Yes. You can. All right. One word clue, and it will be Emmys, worth $100 to the yellow rooting section, who are already bananas at this point. All right. Let's bring on the ladies. All right, ladies. We have asked the fellas a question, and we have a clue. Here is the question first. A time one of you fell asleep at the wrong time. Now, the clue is Emmys. Janet is up. Tell us about that, if you will.
He could have had about 10 clues for this one. I fall asleep all the time at the wrong time. But this particular time, Lee had worked the Emmys, and he'd worked very hard. And we were real excited. We were going to go out after the show, and we went to Chasen's. And he was in a taxi.
That's it. You're absolutely right for $100. What more can you say? You fell asleep and missed it all, didn't you?
Right. He was introducing me, and I was going...
All right. Thank you. That's a $100 score for you. All right. Gentlemen, here comes the next question. Ready to go? It happened in a bar. Orson. Somehow I had a feeling that when I said bar, Orson was going to pop that button. Tell us about it.
Half of our courtship took place in one bar or another.
And we want to know where the other half took place, right, gang?
We were sitting at a little table in our favorite bistro in New York, Dick Edwards, a high-class upholstered saloon. And there was a couple sitting at the next table, and they were engaged in a heated conversation, and we were kind of half eavesdropping, just as you will in a restaurant. And the guy was talking to his girl and explaining this, that, and the other, and he looked around in the course of this heated, animated conversation for a napkin, couldn't find one, and just without even really realizing what he was doing, reached over and picked up Carolyn's napkin from the next table, wiped his mouth, put it back, and went on talking. Carolyn looked at me. She couldn't believe it. The waiter came and cleared their dinner away and brought them coffee, and the guy goes on talking, and Carolyn reaches over to his table, picks up his cup of coffee, takes a sip of it, and puts it back.
That's funny. Oh, what I want to know is, did he pick up a little bit of your check? He didn't do that.
I don't know what kind of... Maybe I need a two-word clue for that. A coffee, steal...
It happened in a bar.
Napkin. Napkin or coffee? Coffee snatch?
Happened in a bar.
Napkin snatch. Coffee. Coffee. Coffee would do it. A one-word clue is good enough.
Fine with me.
Thank you.
Whatever you want to pick.
I think one word.
You're the guy.
That's all we need.
Coffee, huh?
Tell me about yourself.
Coffee. You want to go with coffee?
Coffee.
All right, let's have a cup of coffee. It happened in a bar, the one-word clue, and it's coffee. Let's bring on the ladies.
I don't know if she'll get
Okay.
it.
Shh. Ladies, we have another question. We have another clue. Here's the question. It happened in a bar. Okay? Happened in a bar. The clue is coffee. Carolyn. Tell us about it, Carolyn.
You mean the time that the guy reached over and took the napkin and then I reached...
That's the one, and you're right, for $100. Absolutely right. Okay, you are right. At this point, Cynthia and Glenn have yet to score, and we have a tie between Janet Lee, Carolyn Orson with $100 apiece. Okay, time for a Tattletale quickie, and here it is. I always expect when I take it out of this side thing that Carolyn's going to go, hey, because it's right next to the... Here we are, ladies. I'm going to ask you this question. Don't give me an answer now. Can a man... Sure. Oh. Ooh. A little tricky here. Ladies, can a man be unfaithful to a woman and still be in love with her? Now, this is a general question. This does not necessarily relate to you and your fella here, okay? Can a man be unfaithful to a woman and still be in love with her?
What do you think,
Think
Bert?
that over, and I refuse to answer on the grounds it might tend to incriminate me. Right? Go away and think about that, ladies. We'll come back to you in a moment. Orson, what's Carolyn going to say?
It's a very difficult question because there are levels of love. However, I would think that with love as it is generally accepted in our sex-starved society, the answer would be yes.
Yes. And you think that's what Carolyn would say?
I hope is what she'll say.
All right.
Otherwise, the blue group is going to come and hit me over the head with a bloop.
Okay, let's bring on Carolyn. Carolyn, what is the answer to that? Yes or no? Can a man be unfaithful to a woman he loves? And you know what I mean. Wait.
Funny, you're getting nervous.
Explain this, Bert.
I'm having a little trouble with the card here. You know the question, yes or no? Can a man be unfaithful to a woman and still be in love with her?
Certainly seems to happen a lot that you hear about it. I'd say yes.
That's what he said. You're right. Absolutely right. Yes,
There's even a lot that you don't hear about.
And without exploring that any further, let's move right along. Thank you, Carolyn. Lee, how about Janet? What's she going to say?
Well, I think there was at one time that Janet would say no, that one man would be in love with one woman, and that would be it. But I think ever since Dr. Zhivago, when the movie when Omar Sharif was in love with the two ladies, at that point, I think that changed her whole feeling.
That proved it to her, huh?
I think that she would say, yes, he could be in love with two people.
Well, no, the question is not could he be in love with two people. The question is, can a man be unfaithful to a woman and still be in love with her?
Yes.
With Geraldine Chaplin, it's possible.
It ain't.
She'll
What about
say
Julie
yes.
Christie? It ain't too bad either. Okay, you'll say that she'll say yes.
Yes.
Let's bring her on. All right, Janet, how do you feel about that?
I think generally speaking that absolutely they could.
That's what we said. You are right.
Right, generally speaking.
What was that?
Not Lee, though, or I'll kill him.
No, no. No, not Lee. It didn't say whether or not you would survive. It just says, could you be unfaithful? Thank you, Janet. All right, Glenn, how is Cynthia going to react to that?
Can she be in love with you and be unfaithful, right?
The question is, can a man be unfaithful to a woman and still be in love with her?
No.
You think that, okay, you think that a man, she will say, no, a man cannot be unfaithful to a woman and still be in love with her.
I don't think a man can be in love with a woman and be unfaithful to her.
Okay, and that's what you think Cynthia will say. She'll say no. He's thinking about it now. Yes, okay. Is that it? That's the answer. Let's bring on Cynthia. All right, Cynthia, what is your answer?
No.
That's what he said. You're absolutely right. It was a very definite no. Okay, that's halftime. At this point, Cynthia and Glenn have $100. Janet, Lee, or Carolyn and Orson are tied with $200 apiece. Halftime, fellas, if you will, step to the rear. Ladies, come on out in front. While we are changing places, we'll break away for a brief message just for you. I hope you are too.
You swine.
Our audience is winning money. Everybody's winning money today. And if they're in the rooting section backing our top winning couple, and we're going to have a top winning couple, we're going to give away another $1,000 to that rooting section. All right, gentlemen, it's now the ladies' turn to sit in the hot seat out here, and we'll get back to you with clues and questions in just a minute, okay? See you soon. All right, ladies, ready to go?
Tension mounts.
Tension mounts. We have a close game, by the way, in case you don't know. Carolyn, you and Orson have $200. Janet, you and Lee have $200. And Cynthia, you and Glenn have $100. So one question will even it all up. Here it comes. First question for the ladies, and it is an incident involving food. Spurred on by that reaction from your rooting section, tell us your story about food.
This one. Lee and I took our 3 children out to lunch one day. I was on the road. And we all went out to lunch. And before we left the hotel room, I said, now, anybody that has to go to the bathroom, go. Because once we get to the restaurant, I'm not going to be taking you back and forth. So they said, no, we don't have to go. So we went in, we sat down, we ordered. And my 4-year-old, Goober, sorry, his name is John. We call him Goober. Goober says he had just gotten served his cheeseburger. He says, Mom, I got to go to the bathroom. I said, you can't. I told you couldn't. You just sit and eat, and when we get back, you can go. He says, Ma, I really got to go. I said, Goober, you're just going to have to eat, and when we get back, you can go. He says, okay, but it sure is hard to eat a cheeseburger with only one hand.
Oh, my. Out of the mouths of babes. Oh, that's wonderful. That's just wonderful. All right, we need a clue now that...
I guess I'll say cheeseburger.
I think so. An incident involving food and cheeseburger should do it for Lee. Huh? Okay, let's bring on the fellas. Gentlemen, we have asked a question and we have a clue. Here is the question first. An incident involving food. Okay? The clue is cheeseburger. Lee. That sounds familiar to you, Lee?
Yes. Does it sound like one hand?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, and you're absolutely right. Okay, at this point, Cynthia and Glenn have $100. Carol and Orson have $200. Janet and Lee are in the lead with $300. We'll come right back with more of Tattletales after a brief message for you. If IBM designed, hello there.
Yes.
If IBM designed my mouth, it would work a lot better, I think. If IBM designed a computer that would predict what was going to happen to you for the next 5 years, good and bad, would you want to know? If IBM designed a computer that would predict what was going to happen to you for the next 5 years, good and bad, would you want to know? Think about that, fellas, and we'll come back to you in just a moment.
You asking them?
Yes, I'm asking them, and now you're going to tell us what you think they will say, okay? Carolyn, what will Orson say?
No.
He wouldn't want to know?
No.
Why not?
Because we kind of enjoy all the surprises in life.
Okay. Yeah, it would take a lot of surprise out. But what if it was all good news? Then you'd really be kind of excited about it. But it'd be more fun to let it happen.
It's nice to wake up and not know what you're going to do the next day, the next week, the next month,
or the next minute.
year. The next minute.
All right, so you'll say that Orson will say no. He would not want to know.
Right.
But you want to know. Okay, let's bring him on. Orson, how do you feel about that? Would you like to know, yes or no?
I hate it, no.
That's what you said. You're right. Absolutely right. Yes, he said it would lack surprise for you. Is that right?
Oh, well, whatever it is, I don't trust machines.
Thank you, Orson. Okay, Janet, what's Lee going to say?
I think that Lee would say no, just because we both are sort of pessimistic in some ways, and I really wouldn't want to know. I don't think he would either.
Really?
I don't think so.
Well, supposing, like I said to Carolyn, it was if you have sort of a pessimistic outlook or maybe a cynical one, how about if it was a lot of good news in there?
Yeah, but how would you know?
Well, the machine's going to tell you. It says here.
I mean, how would you know that it was going to be good? And you can't. When you're a pessimist, you don't count on that. You know what I mean?
When you're a pessimist, you say, nevertheless, the machine is lying, right?
Anyway, I don't think you would.
You'll say no. All right, let's bring on Lee. Okay, Lee, how would you react to that? Yes or no? Would you like to know?
Absolutely not.
That's what you said.
Except maybe about what's going to happen tonight.
We didn't hear you, Lee. Say it again.
Except maybe about what's going to happen tonight.
All right, thank you. You're right. Cynthia, how about Glenn? How's he going to feel about that?
Well, Glenn has his chart done, and it's sent to the house, and he knows every day. I could be very wrong, but I would say yes.
He would like to know.
Well, just by what I've seen, I don't know whether, no one wants to hear bad news, but I think that if it's negative, he would know in advance. I don't know why he does it, but he does have a chart sent at home.
Okay, so you're going to gamble and say he'll say yes.
Yes.
All right, let's see if he does. All right, Glenn, yes or no? Would you like to know?
Well, when you say IBM, I get a little suspicious, but yes.
That's what you said. You are right. Absolutely. Which brings up an interesting question. You get a chart, as Cynthia said. Is it accurate? Does it really tell you pretty much what's going to happen, do you think? Does it predict pretty well?
No.
It doesn't. Oh, it does.
Oh, yes, it does, but I'm not going to say it on the air.
Okay. That signal means our time is up. Our winners are Janet and Lee. Janet and Lee, you've won $400. We had $1,000 to that for a total of $1,400 for your rooting section. Oh, boy. Pandemonium reigns, and we'll be back for more of it after this message. We had a good time today. I hope you did, too. We gave away a total of $1,900 to our studio audience today. Everybody will go home a little richer than they came in. And I hope that you will go away a little richer than when you tune us in, hopefully from some laughs. I want to thank our celebrities. We had a good time. See you next time on Tattletales. Bert Convy saying so long.
Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples. The red section has its money on Chad Everett and his wife, Shelby Grant. The yellow section backs Jack Carter and his wife, Roxanne. And the blue section is betting on David Ladd and his wife, recording artist Cheryl Ladd, as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
I don't know what's going on here. Welcome to Bob and Carol, Ted and Allison, Frick and Frack. I don't know. Used to be called Tattletales, but we're playing games here, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we start playing games? Let's start playing games. Fellas, have a seat with me. Ladies to the rear, that's right. We'll come back and start our first round of Tattletales after they're all situated and ready to go. No, around this way. Oh, boy, it's wild in here today. Let's say hello to our couples, shall we? First of all, David Ladd and his wife, Cheryl. Next to David and Cheryl is Mr. Jack Carter and his wife, Roxanne. Next to Roxanne and Jack is Mr. Chad Everett and his wife, Shelby. Careful with the bones there. Don't hurt the bones. Okay, you know how we play the game, ladies. We're going to ask the fellas a question. They're going to be coming to you with clues in just a minute. Ready to go? Off you go to listen to your music, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, gentlemen, ready to go. First question, here it is. It happened on a plane. Chad Everett is ready. Boy, they're starting with a vengeance today. Tell us about it, Chad.
Well, we were coming back from Spain.
On a plane.
And on a plane.
Rain in Spain.
And it was rain. And Shelby was just a lot pregnant. And there were a lot of single men on the plane, and I was up, she was sleeping, resting, and I was up having a drink in the lounge section. I was talking with a steward. And there was a particularly affectionate lady there who was a stewardess, and she came over to say hello, and there wasn't a seat available in the lounge, and she decided that she could best talk to me eye-to-eye level, so she occupied my lap. I was really trying to, be decent about the whole thing, and Shelby had awakened, and she walked down the aisle, and with a lovely smile on her face, she walked up to this girl and reached out, and on a sort of right, I don't want to mention the exact piece of anatomy, but sort of right forward thorax area, she, with a big smile, tweaked and asked this girl to move. And whereupon this person moved. And then she continued on about her business. And so that happened on a plane.
That is the most gentle account of the riotous scene I have ever heard in my life.
You gotta...
All right, doctor, how about a clue now that Shelby probably won't have any trouble recognizing?
Tweak? Did you say tweak?
No.
Tweak.
Tweak.
Tweak will get it.
Tweak will do it, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Let's bring on the ladies.
Tweak.
All right, ladies, we have asked the fellas a question, and we have the clue. The question is, it happened on a plane. And the clue is tweak. Tell us about that, if you will, Shelby, please.
Did he tell you about it?
Yeah, he did. But I want to see if you're going to.
Oh, boy. Well, I was very pregnant, and we were flying back from Spain, and Chad was sitting over with a steward making some travel plans or something, and I started to get to go to the little girl's room, which I did frequently around that time, and I saw a stewardess politely sit on his lap. And so I saw Chad sort of do a shove, and I thought, well, he can take care of himself. And I started to go in, and I thought, take care of himself. So I went over to her, and I smiled sweetly at her. And how do you tell this? I sort of put my hand under her arm, and as I smiled, I twisted or tweaked, or what did you call it? A certain part of the body, and she smiled painfully while I did it.
And got up. That's what he said. You're right. Okay. She's only been flying with one arm lately, that young lady.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, we'll come back with another clue in just a moment. Here we go. Fellas, next question coming up. It happened on a plane. Same question. Who's first? Jack was. You were first, Jack.
We were flying to Mexico, to Acapulco. And we met a very wealthy boy. He owns the Las Brisas Hotel in Acapulco, and he also owns the mountain. He owns Mexico, everything. And he invited us to a home, to a villa.
That's wealthy, isn't it?
Yeah, he's Roberto Trier. He produces films too, and he invited us to a gorgeous home. We didn't know where it was next to Las Brisas, next to the castle or something, and we're there, and a beautiful yacht pulls up, and we got on board the yacht, and some nice little kid is running, serving us and feeding us and giving us drinks, and Roxanne says, what a nice boy, I'm going to tip him. And she starts to tip him, and this Routurier friend grabs, what are you doing? I want to tip him. He's such a nice boy, this deck boy. That's what he says. This is his yacht. That's President Alaman's son.
Whoa.
You know, with the little T-shirt. She thought, oh, what a nice kid.
Yeah.
It isn't funny in the telling, but in Mexico it means a lot of telephone.
No, you don't tip the owner, I guess.
Oh,
yes,
no one. He was so sweet and cute, running around, serving, feeding us all. I'm on his yacht. And we said, nice kid, I'll tip him a couple of pesos. Here, Gentilata Panono. He could have bought us, Greece, America, and everything.
Okay, it happened on a plane, and the clue would be, happened on a plane? How'd we get on the yacht?
On a plane, but the cue is yacht.
The clue is
the yacht.
yacht. Well, if that doesn't confuse the dickens out of him, it happened on a plane and the clue is yacht. Okay, that's what it is. A one-word clue and it's yacht. Let's bring him on. All right, ladies, we have another question. It is, in fact, the same question. It happened on a plane. The clue is yacht. Roxanne. Tell us that story, Roxanne.
We flew to Mexico and to Acapulco, and we were met by some people, and while we were there was this charming man who said, please, let me pick you up on my, in this boat and take you around and so forth. And I said, very lovely. And a group of people came up with this gorgeous yacht. They took us out. We were treated royally, and this one fellow was just darling. He was waiting on me and getting me everything I wanted. And I wanted to tip him, and he was the president's son.
That's what he said. You're right. $100. Okay, at this point, Cheryl and David have yet to score. Roxanne and Jack, Shelby and Chad are tied in the lead with $100 apiece. Okay, time for a Tattletale quickie. And this is it. Ladies, this quickie is for you. $100 for each correct answer. Here it comes. The handsome young man across the way is undressing without pulling down the shades. Would you take time out to watch? The handsome young man across the way is undressing without pulling down the shades. Would you take out time to watch? Don't give us your answer now. Just think about that, and we'll come back to you in just a moment. And we'll pull down the shades, too. Okay, David, what shall we going to say?
No question about this. She'd probably get out a pair of binoculars to watch. I mean, Cheryl is one of the great voyeurs in the business.
Is that right? Oh, yes. Okay, so obviously your answer is going to be yes.
Yes.
Let's bring on Cheryl. All right, Cheryl, in that event, what would you do?
Well, all I can say is curiosity killed a cat, and I'd watch.
That's what he said, you'd say. You're right. He said you get out a pair of binoculars, is what he said.
I beg your pardon.
Thank you, Cheryl.
It's true.
Okay, Jack, how about Roxanne?
Roxanne would stand by the window and she'd go, isn't that awful? Isn't that vulgar? Isn't that crude? Isn't that wild? Isn't that marvelous? She'd be saying that for about 4 hours.
Yes, right.
Then she'd go up with the shade.
Okay, the answer is, I think, a yes.
Yes,
a
definite watcher.
Let's bring on Roxanne. Roxanne, what would you do? That young man over there.
Gee, I, want a comparison shop, so I would say yes.
That's what he said. You're right. Little window shopping never hurt anybody. Thank you, Roxanne. Okay, Chad. What about Shelby? What would she do in that case?
Shelby would holler, honey, come quick, check out the competition. She would probably watch very deftly, and if the guy turned out to do this 2 or 3 nights in a row, she might even try and find him some help by calling one of her friends. She'd watch. Sure, she'd watch.
She'd watch.
Human being.
Okay, let's bring her on. Shelby, what would you do?
Watch.
That's what he said. At this point, Cheryl and David have $100. Roxanne and Jack, Shelby and Chad are tied with $200 apiece for their sections. We will change places now. Fellas to the rear, ladies front and center. While we're doing that, we're going to break away for just a minute, but we're coming back with the second half of Tattletales. Come back with us.
What do we have behind that curtain?
Beautiful modern furniture.
Beautiful patio furniture. Open up the curtain and show her what's back there.
Let's make a deal. Furnishing the fun. Weeknights at 8 on Buzzer. Let's play.
Okay, we're back. We've changed places. I have the ladies out here with me. The fellas are all set to go backstage. Our studio audience is winning money. We have a good, close game. And whatever rooting section is backing our top winning couple, as you know, we had a bonus of $1,000 to that winning rooting section. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to ask the ladies the questions now. Their turn to give the stories and give the clues, and we'll be back to you with those clues in just a minute, okay? Bye now. Ladies, ready to go?
Yes.
Here comes the first question. A story about relatives. Cheryl's first. Would you like to tell us that story, my dear?
This is just a terrible story.
Good.
Maybe, okay. David and I were visiting my folks just before we got married, and we were talking over wedding plans, and we were having a nice, quiet evening at home, and David had his bare feet up on the coffee table. And we got to talking about, I don't know, diseases and things, and I said, well, David has got terrible athlete's foot. Now, my parents are going, really? And David is going, oh my. So I try and cover it up the best I can and say, oh, it's not catchy. I've taken a shower with him.
That's perfect.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. That's called stepping in it, and not with an athlete's foot either.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cute. Now we need a clue that David's going to pick up on. A story about relatives.
I'd say shower, except that David and I kind of have a nickname for his athlete's foot, and we call it the fungus. So maybe if I say fungus.
Fungus.
Let's say fungus.
Fungus.
Among us.
We do get some weird clues, don't we, folks? Fungus. Okay, let's bring on the fellas. All right, gentlemen, we've asked the ladies a question, and we have a clue. Here's the question first. A story about relatives. The clue is fungus. David.
On national television, you would do this. I mean, it's not.
did.
It's not bad
We're
enough.
happily married. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm talking about the fungus.
Oh. I see. I'm sorry, darling.
I can't get in. I mean, this is really embarrassing. I have this problem with my feet, and I was walking around her parents' house like the week before we got married. You know, I was going back to meet the family and the whole, you know. And Cheryl points out the fact that I have athlete's foot.
That's the story she gave us, and you were right, David.
Yeah, that's what I thought she did. I don't believe you did.
Yes, she told us the whole story. Every bit of it. But don't you worry about a thing. Nobody knows but you and me, so don't worry about it. All right, fellas, we'll get back to you in just a moment with the clue. Ladies, ready to go? Here comes the next question. A story about relatives. Same question. You're up, Roxanne.
Jack and I were going together just before we were married, and he brought his mother out to visit him. And we took her to dinner. We went back to his apartment. His mother went to bed, and he and I were sitting watching television, very proper. We were necking. And his mother came out of the bedroom, walking with a glass with her teeth in them, shuffling through, and she stopped, and she stared at me, and she looked at Jack, and she said, "What's the matter? The goyle ain't got a home?"
Okay. What's the clue for that? What's the one or two word clues going without a home? Story about relatives.
Teeth?
Teeth?
Because his mother is always good at teeth.
Okay, that's the clue. That's teeth, right?
Teeth.
Okay, let's bring on the fellas. All right, gentlemen, we have a question and we have a clue. It's the same question, a story about relatives. The clue is teeth.
Oh.
Teeth.
Oh.
Jack. All right. right, Jack, tell us about that, if you will.
I moved my mother out here from New York so she could be a television star on the Merv Griffin show. I said, nice luggage. She showed up with 2 shopping bags with a chicken dying hanging out of the bag. She came to my apartment to live with me. I said, no, Ma. She says, well, you're still going to fool around? Well, you need girls, terrible, dirty. Well, who needs it? I wouldn't bother you. Want to bring him home, bring him home. So I'm with Roxanne one night. We're necking on the couch. My mother goes through it like Renfrew the Mounted, you know? With the teeth in a glass, right back and forth.
That's what she told us. You're absolutely right, Jack. Okay, at this point, Cheryl and David, Selby and Chad have $200. Roxanne and Jack are in the lead with $300 for their winning section. And we'll come back with more of Tattletales right after this message for you.
Where do you catch TV with class?
I think I've got the answer right here.
Where bow ties are cool.
How do you do? Going to be in New York a while?
And a man always stands for a lady.
You're in a jam. Here I am.
The answer is in black and white.
Pardon?
TV was never this cool.
Sort of a flexible message, you might say.
Buzz till dawn. Tonight, starting at 2.
Once you kind of relax, settle back, and enjoy yourself.
Let's play, baby.
We're back. We have a close game, and I have a tattletale quickie right here that's going to decide it. Fellas, I'm going to ask you the question. Don't give me the answer. You know that. Here it is. Close game, too, fellas, in case you didn't know. How often would you say you and your wife have an argument? Once a week, once a month, or practically never? How often would you say that you and your wife have an argument? Once a week, once a month, or practically never? Think about it, fellas, and we'll come back and get your answer and decide this game in just a moment. Roxanne is already laughing. Cheryl, what's David going to say?
Oh, we have a lot of little things, but they're not really arguments.
Yeah. Well, it does say argument.
I'll say once in a while we have a good one.
So once a week, once a month, or practically never?
Practically never.
Practically never. Okay, let's bring him on, find out. Okay, David. What is the frequency of an argument in your family? Once a week, once a month, or practically never?
No, once a month. Regularly.
You know what? I think this is going to be the time of the month you're going to have one.
David.
Yes, dear.
We'll have ours this month.
I see.
In a little while.
She said practically never. Isn't that funny?
We don't really have very many arguments, honey.
No.
Isn't
that right, dear?
Isn't that right?
Sorry, David. No score there. Thank you, though. Roxanne, how about you and Jack?
How about once a minute?
Once a minute isn't on my card.
Can I tell you, our arguments are like a Neil Simon play.
Funny.
It's sensational. Really, you should all be there to listen. It's terrific. I would say frequent, constant, all the time, every day.
But all I have is once a week, once a month, or practically never.
Oh, well, if it's limited to that, then it'll have to be once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Everyone in this arena has a money stake in one of our famous couples as we play the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convy.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Welcome to Tattletales. Nice to have you all with us. What is that? Oh, we got a terrific crowd today. They're going to have a good time, and I hope you will, too. First off, let's meet our group of stars. Shall we do that? Out here with me, I have the ladies, and they are, first of all, Academy Award winner Patty Duke and her husband, Mr. John Astin.
How do you do?
Patty, John, it's nice to have you with us.
Thank
How are
you,
you, John?
It's nice to be back.
Just fine.
You're back, huh? Ready to go?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, next to Patty and John is Claire Mitchell and her funny man husband, Mr. Scoey Mitchell. Now, Scoey, I could have done a lot better than saying her funny man husband, couldn't I? But that's okay, it is true. You are a funny man, and it's nice to have you with us. It's your first time.
And I am her husband.
That's true. So I didn't lie. Everything I said was right down the line. Claire and Scoey, nice to have you with us. And next to them.
Thank you.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen, Mitzi McCall and her husband, Charlie Brill. Hi, you doing, gang?
We're doing terrific.
Are you?
I don't have to ask you. You look so... Oh, isn't he cute?
Oh, thank you. You're very nice. Jim, I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came too, Charlie. Anyway. Okay, first thing we're going to do is play a Tattletale Quickie today. Everybody ready? I'm reaching for it. Fellas, I'm going to ask you the question. You do not give me the answer now. Just think about it. Each correct answer is worth $100 for your rooting section. Here we go. Men, since being married, do you think you've changed your wife in any way? Men, since being married, do you think you've changed your wife in any way? Don't give us any answer now. We'll come back for that in just a moment. See you later, fellas. Patty, what's John going to say? Does he feel, do you think, that he has changed you in any way?
I think he'll say yes, and I agree with him. For the better.
For the better?
Yeah,
He's
there was
changed
a lot to change.
There was?
The man has had a hard life since we got here.
I don't know. I've always thought you were terrific.
Thank you.
He changed you, and he will say, yes, he did change you.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring him on, see if he thinks so. John, what is the answer to that? Have you, in fact, changed, Patty, since you've been married?
Yes. I
That's what she said. You're right, $100. How do you think you've changed, Patty, John?
Well, we have 5 kids.
You've been changing kids, but I said, how have you been changing Patty? That's a big change, isn't it?
Very big.
You're going to do very well today because somebody in your rooting section has a bird whistle. You should hear that thing. Who is that over there? It's got a bird whistle. Let's hear that bird whistle. Oh, wow. That's terrific. Anyway, you've got your $100, and thank you, John.
Thanks, honey.
Thank you.
Okay, Claire, what's Scoey going to say? Has he changed you, do you think?
I don't think so.
What, is he going to say that too?
I think he'll say if there was any change, and it was before we were married, so I don't think I've changed since.
And you don't think he's changed you at all? You were terrific then, and you're terrific
I'm terrific now.
That's what I think. Okay, let's bring on Scoey. Scoey, what's the answer? Do you think you've changed, Claire, since you've been married?
Yes. That wasn't the right answer, huh?
No, well, it might be the right answer, but it isn't the one she gave us, is the thing. You think you've changed her, huh?
Yeah, her disposition has become much more even since she's been with me. My wife is evil all the time.
I'm sorry, Scoey. I'm sorry to hear that about that, too, but no score there. Thanks. We'll come back to you later. Missy, what's Charlie going to say? Has he changed you, think?
He definitely has changed me.
Well, now, how do they know? The front row's all saying yes, yes.
They know. We have ESP going. The thing is, I've always been very insecure. Like when a football game would get into a huddle, I used to think they were talking about me, right? And he's changed me, because now I know they're talking about me. Yeah, he's changed me.
He's changed you.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring on Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Yes.
What do you think? Have you changed, Mitzi, since you've been married?
Yes, I've changed her whole life.
That's what she said. You're right. Okay. So far, right off the bat, Claire and Scoey didn't score on that one, but Patty and John and Mitzi and Charlie each have a $100 tie game right off the bat. We're going to break away for a commercial message, and we'll come back right after that. We hope you do, too. Okay, we are back. This time it's story time. We're going to do one of our story questions. Fellas, I'm going to ask the ladies a questions about themselves and about you guys and your lives together, and they're going to come with a clue to you in just a moment. Okay, so we'll sign you off now. Goodbye, fellas.
Bye. So long.
All right, ladies, here we go. First question. I'll only take the first response. Hands upon the table. Here we go. First question. It happened in a hotel. Claire was first. Okay, Claire, tell us about what happened in a hotel, if you will.
Okay, before I get into the story, I have to preface this. When my husband sleeps, he sleeps like he's in a coma.
Right.
Okay. They were doing, Scoey was doing the series Barefoot, and everybody had to be in New York. So
now, you mean barefoot in the park? You don't mean he was doing a series barefoot
right.
all the time? But,
he was doing Barefoot in the park. So he was out here in California, and I was in New York. So they wanted to do the title shots. And, of course, they were going to do the title shots in Central Park. So, therefore, everybody had to come to New York. And they put them all up in the hotel plaza. So after they had been there a couple of days, Scoey got to missing me, and so he called me one night. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and he said, Claire, come on over. I said, but it's late. He said, come on, just put some things in a bag and throw anything on and come on over. So, okay, I get up and I got rollers in my hair and I put a hat on and I put a raincoat and dungarees. And I really look bad, but I'm just getting in a cab and I grab this little overnight bag, okay? So I get to the hotel and I go upstairs and I knock on the door. No answer. And I knock, and I knock. I must have knocked for 15 minutes. And I said, oh my goodness, why didn't I tell him to leave the door open? So I go downstairs and I go to the switchboard and I explain my story to her. She says to me, I'm sorry, but we're not allowed to ring the rooms after 12. Go see the manager. So as far as I'm concerned, no problem. So I see this gentleman walking toward me, and I say, he must be the manager. Very distinguished looking with the tie, and he's got another gentleman with him. And I said, good evening. I says, I'm trying to get into room so-and-so, whatever the room was. And he looked at me. So he says, have you any identification? And I said, no. I says, I just came out like this. And I got shoes sticking out the bag. And like I said, I really look bad. And he's looking at me. He says, I am sorry, madam, but we cannot ring the room after 12. So then I say to him, but I'm Mrs. Mitchell, and I would like to get in the room. He says, I am sorry. He looks at his watch. He says, it's now 3 o'clock. He says, you are perfectly welcome to sit in the lobby and wait until morning. I said, thank you, but no thank you. I didn't come here for a sit-in. Then it dawns upon me, the way he's looking at me, he thought I was a lady of the evening.
Yes.
So therefore, I get mad and I walk away and I said, what am I going to do? I can't stay down here. I can't get upstairs. So I go back in the elevator, and the operator must have seen all that was happening. So he says to me, he says, knock hard. And I said, I am. And I get off the elevator and I walk down the hall and I bang on the door hard. I think I had keys in my hand or something. And Scully opens the door like he had been awake for the whole evening. So then I said to him, you don't know what I went through. So we're hugging and we're kissing, and the door was slightly ajar. And as we're getting ready to close the door, here comes the night manager with the hotel detective. And they said, excuse me, sir. This is a long story. Shall I finish it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to the Claire Mitchell Show.
I gotta tell the end. Is it getting too long?
No, it's adorable.
Speak right up.
We're a little late, folks. We'll see you next time on...
So like I said, the door was slightly ajar. Here comes the hotel detective and the manager, and they see us. And he says, excuse me, sir, but this woman says she is your wife. She is causing a disturbance. She won't show me any identification. So Scully says, well, this is my wife. He said, well, the room is only registered for one, and you'll have to pay for the additional person.
Oh, my.
Scully said, that's all right. I don't care. The studio was paying for it. End of story.
End of story. Yes, I don't know what they're thinking back there, but I was a young man when you started that question. You know that? All right, what we need is a 1 or 2 word clue that somebody's going to remember.
Help me, I've talked so much, I've forgotten what this is.
A 1 or 2 word clue now, because a 2 word clue is worth $50, a 1 word clue is worth $100. What's Scully going to recognize?
Detective.
It happened in a hotel. It happened in a hotel. Sleep is the clue. It happened in a hotel is the question.
Sleep.
Sleep. She wants to go with sleep. The yellow section's yelling detective. She wants to go with sleep. She knows what he'll get. All right, let's bring on the fellas. Shh, don't talk. Don't talk. Shh. We must all be very quiet. Fellas, are you still there?
We're here. Yeah.
We have a question and we have a clue. Here's the question first. It happened in a hotel. And the clue is sleep. Scully. Tell us about that, if you will, Scully. But try to be brief, if you don't mind.
I knew that had to be my wife. When you said sleep, and I took notice of the length of the story. I guess she was telling you about the night in New York when she was a hooker.
Yeah, that's the night. You're right. You both sure have a way with words, you know that, I'll tell you.
Oh, silver tongue.
All right, it's time for a Tattletale Quickie, everybody, and we're going to play that right now. Fellas, I'm going to ask you the question. Don't give me the answer and don't make any sound. Here it is. Men, men, do you like your wife to dress in a way that turns other men on? Ooh. I didn't know what that question was going to be before I got to it. Men, do you like your wife to dress in a way that turns other men on? Think about that, fellas, and we'll come back to you in just a moment, I hope. Oh, we're kidding you, Claire, but it was cute. We had a good time. Patty, tell us what's John going to say about that.
That's really tough. See, sometimes, you know, if I wear something and I think it's too daring, which is even an old-fashioned word, he likes it, and I think, well, I'm not going to get into that, okay. He will say, yes, that he likes it if I wear something that might turn some other man on.
Okay.
As long as the man doesn't do anything about it.
Right, no, but sure, okay, let's bring on John. John, yes or no? Do you like your wife to dress in a way that turns other men on?
Well, I think she does, whether she tries to or not, you see, so, but I would say not particularly, really.
Then you lied all those times. Yeah, oh, boy.
It turns me on, honey.
Yeah, right, okay.
Oh, be quiet.
Sorry about that, John. No score there, but thank you. Claire, how about Scoy? How's he feel about that?
To turn other men on. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, does he like you to dress in a way that turns other men on?
He likes for me to dress for him, and he is very much a man. But as far as other men, I'm going to say no and hope I'm right.
Okay. The yellow section agrees with you. Let's bring on Scoy.
Not too hardly.
Scoy.
Yes.
What is the answer to that? Do you like your wife to dress to turn other men on? Yes or no?
Well, my wife's a turn on, you know?
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. No.
That's what she said. You're right. Thank you, Scoy. Okay, Mitzi, what's Charlie going to say?
Charlie's going to say, Charlie is so jealous. Isn't that funny? Because he's really cuter than I am, but don't tell him. He's going to say, no, he does not. And can I just tell you how I happen to know that?
Well, of course.
Because I bought this bathing suit that you could see, I mean, you really could see, right? And he said, you'll throw that bathing suit away fast. And I did.
And you did?
And I did.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
But I bought another one that was worse.
Okay, shh, don't say anything now. Bring on Charlie. Okay, Charlie.
What?
What's the answer to that question? Do you like your wife to dress in a way that turns other men on?
No!
That's what she said. Okay, it's halftime. And at halftime, our scores, Patty and Jan by $100. Claire and Scoy, Mitzi and Charlie are tied with $200 apiece. We will change places, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies to the rear, the gentlemen will come out here. And while we're doing that, we're going to break away for a brief commercial break. Come back and see us, will you? Okay, we're back. We're at the halfway point. As you can see, I have the gentleman out here with me now. And let's see, we've got a good close game. Anybody can win this one. But if you are in the rooting section that is backing our top winning couple, you know what we do. We add $1,000 to the total. All right. Now, ladies, it's the fellas' turn. We're going to do a story question for them, and they're going to come back to you with a clue in just a minute, okay? So enjoy the music. We'll get back to you in just a second. Gentlemen, are you ready to go now? You know what happens. I only take one response, so you got to be the first one up on that button. Hands upon the table. Here comes the first question. A story involving children. John. Boom, boom. Sound like the guy coming down the first baseline. Ball glove.
Okay, there are 1,000 of them, but I will pick one.
1,000 children or 1,000 stories?
Our boy, Alan, when we were married, we called Alan from the honeymoon, and Alan said, now that you're married, do you feel better?
Well, while we're all thinking about that,
what's a one-word clue for that?
You want to give us a one-word clue for that, and watch it.
What's the category again?
A story involving children.
A story involving children. Honeymoon.
Honeymoon. Okay, good clue. One-word clue worth $100 to the blue section. They're all nodding. Yes, yes. Okay, let's bring on the ladies. Ladies, we have a question. Here it is. A story involving children. And the clue is honeymoon. Patty. Tell us about it, Patty.
Oh, it was me, huh?
Yes, it was you.
Well, if it's a story I'm thinking about, we didn't have a very long honeymoon, but right after we got married, we called home and talked to our 3 oldest boys. For those of you out there who don't know the rest of the story, I'm not going to bother explaining it now. Anyway, we called home, and our second oldest son, Alan, got on the phone, and we told him that we were married, and he said, yeah, well, you feel better now that you're married?
That's what he said. You're absolutely right. Okay.
Very good, my dear.
At this point, everybody's tied. We got a tie, 3-way tie, $200 apiece. And we'll come back to find out who's going to win it all right after this commercial message for you.
Both of you are going to try to match our 6 celebrities.
Can't duplicate our answers. If you do, you hear that?
The more spins you have, the more money you can win.
Put your hands on each other's shoulders.
That is the way you play the game.
Okay, we're back. We're going to play a Tattletale Quickie and decide this whole match here. All right, ladies, you ready to go? Here is the question. It's addressed to you. Your husband aside, of course. Would you rather get advice on important decisions from a man or a woman? Your husband aside, would you rather get advice on important decisions from a man or a woman? Think about that, ladies. We'll return in just a minute. That's a rather interesting question in light of today's men-women relations. John, how do you think Patty's going to feel about that?
I know what my wife would probably say. The sex wouldn't matter one way or the other. But since your rules say she's got to choose,
right?
I think that she would probably lean toward a man.
Okay. You say, she'll say.
I think.
A man. Let's bring on
But
Patty.
what she says is up to her.
Right, we know that.
Yeah.
But you're going to say that she'll say...
That's what I'm saying now.
Right, okay.
What I'll say later...
Let's bring on Patty. All right, Patty, what's the answer to that? For an important decision, who would you rather get advice from, a man or a woman?
Well, it's not that I think that women are any dumber than men or anything like that, but I would like to get advice from a man.
That's what John said. You are right. Thank you, Patty. Story, what's Claire going to say?
I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind whatsoever. There's just no doubt in my mind.
Well, let us in on it, then.
Right. I mean, I know there's just no doubt in my mind.
Right. Thank you, Scoy. Let's move right along now. Scoy, what's Claire going to say?
That's the way you talk when you don't know. You know?
Yeah.
A man.
She'll say a man.
A man.
Okay. Let's bring her on and find out. Claire.
Yes.
Which is it for the important decisions, a man or a woman?
From a man.
That's what he said, and you're right. Thank you, Claire. All right, Charlie, they both got $300.
It's up to me, and I choke in the clutch. I do.
What do you think Mitzi's going to say?
Mitzi's definitely going to say a man because she still thinks men are smarter than women.
She does, really?
Yes.
We'll get into that
a man, no
later.
question. She's going to say a man.
He's got to believe it.
A man.
Let's bring on Mitzi. Shh. Okay, Mitzi, what's the answer? For an important decision, would it be a man or a woman?
A woman, because my best girlfriends are women.
Guess what Charlie said? There was only one other choice, and Charlie picked it. He said a woman. Our time is up. We have a tie game. Patty and John, Claire and Scoy are winners for today. All right, Patty and John, Claire and Scoy, you've won $300 apiece. We had $1,000 to that. Your rooting sections will divide $800 apiece. And we shall return in just a moment with more of Tattletales. Please come back with us. Okay, we're back. We're just about out of time. I want to ask Patty and John, you've got something that everybody should watch for. Haven't you got something you guys want to do?
A play called The Marriage Gamble.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
we're going to be doing it this summer all over the East Coast and for 3 weeks in Denver.
Oh, terrific. We'll be watching for that. The Marriage Gamble with Patty Duke and John Aston. I hope you'll be looking for that. And I hope you'll be looking for Tattletales next time when our stars will be sharing their secrets and their winnings. Bert Convy saying so long, everybody. See you next time.
This is Johnny Olson speaking for Tattletales, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.